The French self-propelled guns are the newest and consequently some of the least understood vehicles in the game. The developers designed these tanks to stand out from their counterparts in the other trees. The French self-propelled guns might be a challenge to master for the new player, but these vehicles are quite powerful on the battlefield in the hands of an experienced artilleryman. In this episode, we will take a closer look at the characteristics of these tanks. The research of the French self-propelled guns begins with the simple Renault BS. This tank hasn't got any turret, doesn't have much of a gun howitzer, and isn't often seen as much of a threat. The developer said to him, "Give it your best shot," and sent him rolling off the assembly line. The fate and characteristics of this tank are similar to the Su-18. The Bison and the T-57 were designed as the typical self-propelled gun, with middle-of-the-road characteristics. In comparison to these vehicles, the Renault has less damage and maneuverability, but its rate of fire and aiming speed are really high, so you can easily force the enemies to take cover. Compared to the Bison, this vehicle is an excellent beginner's SPG. The next self-propelled gun of this branch is Lorraine 39 LAM. You're going to feel much more powerful in this vehicle due to the long range and high damage of the gun, especially for its tier. The Lorraine 39 is similar to the American M37 and the German Wespe, both of which have similar characteristics. However, the French self-propelled gun has a slower acceleration but a faster aiming speed. It is really an amazing feeling to rain shells on your enemies with this tank. The Lorraine 39 LAM introduces you to the accuracy of the French tanks, while the next tank in this branch, the AMX 105 AM, shows you the speed of the French SPGs. The speed limit of the AMX 105 AM is 60 kilometers per hour. As is typical of the rest of the French SPG line. This high rate of speed is valuable in avoiding counter battery fire and repositioning to gain better angles on the enemy forces. You can really see the difference with the French SPGs when comparing each nation's Tier 4 self-propelled gun. The Soviet and the German SPGs have more damage, and the American vehicle has the higher rate of fire. The French self-propelled gun has all these characteristics, but their rate of fire is only somewhere in the middle. Every tier brings better damage to the tanks in an SPG line, but it's pretty rare to see this many attributes increase at once as you progress down the tech tree. To sum it up, the AMX 105 AM is a solid vehicle. It excels at long-range shots, but can also switch to using tank destroyer tactics should the enemies get in close enough. The next tank to discuss is the AMX 13 F3 AM. The damage of this tank is significantly increased compared to the previous tank. The developers had to do this in order to make the vehicle competitive against heavy tanks. All Tier 5 self-propelled guns are quite similar. The SPGs from the American and German trees can deal 950 damage, but the Su-80 only deals 910 damage. All these vehicles have the same shell trajectory and the rate of fire, about 3 rounds per minute. The accuracy of the SPGs of these 3 SPGs is about 0.48 meters, and the aiming speed is quite low. The AMX 13 F3 AM really stands apart from the other SPGs of this tier. The speed limit for this tank is still 60 kilometers per hour. It's the strongest attribute of this tank. This self-propelled gun also has got an unusual gun orientation, which is a bit similar to the French tank destroyer, the S-35. If you turn the gun to the left, you will find that the traverse is quite poor. However, there is a lot of space to turn the gun to the other side. You can hide the vehicle behind fences and other objects due to the small size and gun positioning. From there, you can easily pull back into cover should the need arise. It might be hard to get used to the AMX 13 F3 AM. After any kind of movement, you may want to pick up a book because the aiming speed is really slow. You should not forget about your high movement speed though, because it might help you to escape from an enemy rush. Unfortunately, it is quite hard to reach the speed limit. Despite the high top speed, this SPG does not accelerate quickly. The French Tier 6 self-propelled gun is called Lorraine 155-50. This vehicle eliminates most shortcomings that the AMX-13 F3AM had. All you GW Panther fans will definitely love it. This vehicle storms into the battlefield like a hurricane. This tank can deal some real damage and give any enemy scouts a run for their money. It's a master of repositioning, so be sure to take advantage of this when your forces secure a new sector. The fast aiming speed encourages players to change position often so as to support different flanks. The good gun traverse allows players to take aim at enemies over a wider field of view. The Lorraine 155-50 is one of the best Tier 6 tanks. This self-propelled gun will definitely be added to champion companies, and we're betting you'll never want to sell it. The next tank in the French SPG branch is the Lorraine 155-51. It is quite similar to its predecessor. This tank is equipped with a more powerful weapon, which can deal 1,250 damage. Don't be discouraged, but this is the lowest damage in the Tier 7 and Tier 8 self-propelled guns. However, it's balanced with a high rate of fire, about 3 rounds a minute. It also has fantastic accuracy and great aiming speed. The Lorraine 155-51 was created for the dynamic artillery battles. He has got rapid aiming speed and high accuracy, so he can punish inexperienced players or players who think they've got time to sit out in the open. You will be playing this artillery for quite a while. The next tier artillery is 28 6000 experience to research, but this will be time well spent. The knowledge you accumulate should help you to reach the full potential of the last French self-propelled gun, the Bat-Chatillon 155. Imagine the speed of the Tier 8 Su-25 combined with an automatic loader firing 4 shells in rapid succession. This SPG can force any enemy to retreat. You still have a weapon which can deal 1,250 damage, and it's got incredible accuracy and aiming speed. The turret is a really nice addition. It allows you to aim at your enemies without losing your accuracy or your camouflage because your tank remains stationary. However, this self-propelled gun also has got a few cons. For example, the automatic loader takes roughly a minute to reload a fresh clip, and the turret's traverse speed is quite low. Sometimes it'll be worth it to simply turn your tank rather than wait for the turret. In comparison to the Lorraine, the acceleration is quite poor, and it isn't as maneuverable. However, the Bat-Chatillon 155 is still the fastest Tier 8 self-propelled gun. The main problem is the potential lack of the damage due to the low penetration of the high explosive ammunition. The average penetration is only 95 mm. If you fire at the front armor of the heavy tanks, you may be ineffective. So your priority targets are the medium tanks and the other types of vehicles with poor side armor. In addition, the Bat-Chatillon 155 can't reliably one-shot the enemy artillery due to its low average penetration. For example, you may end up shooting 3 times if you want to kill the GWE. What also may annoy you is the splash radius of the shells is fairly small. With that in mind, you should continue to aim directly for the hull of enemy tanks. The Bat-Chatillon 155 is quite a unique vehicle. In the right hands, it's really going to shine. Only experienced players will be able to use this SPG to its maximum ability. It's simple to aim and shoot its weapon, but it is not so easy to be consistently effective. If you can get used to this vehicle, well, we can only pity your enemies. With the autoloader, high speed, and high accuracy, you have everything you need to destroy the enemy tanks. That's the end of our short French self-propelled guns review. You should remember that not every person will be able to unlock the full potential of the French artillery. It's going to come down to a lot of repositioning, and knowing when it's time to do so. If you can gain that sort of insight, then you're on your way to earning a lot of experience and money with each victory. Good luck on the battlefield.